Every time the government shuts down, the news goes wild, but homeowners, it's not just headlines, it's loan delays, deals falling apart, and a whole lot of confusion. I've had clients call me in a panic saying, Raymond, is this housing market about to crash because of the shutdown? It sounds scary, but let me tell you, this isn't a crash. It's more like your house's plumbing suddenly lost pressure. The water's still there, it's just not flowing where it should be going. Here's what this shutdown actually means for this housing market, what homeowners need to watch for, and how you can protect your sale or your purchase right now. No politics, no jargon, just pure clarity. So let's start with the big question everyone asks. Will this shutdown make mortgage rates drop? Maybe a little bit, but don't get your hopes up. Rates are actually near their lowest points in over a year, about 6.1% back in early October 2024. Shutdowns don't control rates, the bond market does. When investors get nervous, they pull their money out of risky stuff like stocks, and they move it into safer stuff like US Treasury bonds. That's called a flight to safety. And when everybody rushes into these bonds, it pushes their yields down, and mortgage rates tend to follow. But here's the thing, it's usually a very small dip. If you look back during the 2018-2019 shutdown, the longest one we've ever had at 35 days, rates fell about 4.6 to 4.4%. That's about a $30 difference per month for most buyers. Nice, but not exactly a game changer. So yes, sometimes rates will ease a little bit during a shutdown, but even if you find a great rate, you might not be able to use it because the pipeline that processes the loans, the system that verifies the income and insurance and the approvals, that's where everything gets stuck. Think of the housing process like a chain. Each link connects to the next, the lender, the appraiser, the insurance provider, the IRS, and the title company. When one link breaks, the whole chain stops moving. And during a government shutdown, several of these links might break all at once. So let's go through the biggest ones and how they will affect you if you're trying to close right now. The National Flood Insurance Program, or the NFIP, literally shuts down when the government does. That means no flood insurance policies and no renewals. If you're buying or selling a home in a flood zone, you legally can't close without that policy in place. It's like showing up to a closing and realizing the insurance office that issues your required sticker is padlocked shut. And every day, 1,400 property transactions are stalling because of this. That's not theoretical, that's real deals in states like Florida, Texas, and even here in parts of Illinois, sitting in limbo. Now, here is what you should do if your property is near a creek, river, or a mapped floodplain. Talk to your lender or your buyer's agents about private flood insurance. Private flood insurance often costs a little bit more money, but it may be the only way to keep things moving during a shutdown. That's the workaround. Private flood insurance is still running and it can keep your deal alive. Now, this one hits almost every buyer, even those with perfect credit. Every lender needs to verify income through the IRS before closing, but the people who handle that, they're furloughed. So your buyer might be fully approved, all paperwork done, but without that last IRS verification stamp, the loan can't close. It's like packing your bags for a vacation, getting to the airport and realizing the TSA checkpoints closed. You're ready to go, but you're not boarding that flight today. Some lenders can use workarounds like employee letters or payroll deposits, but it's slower. It's not guaranteed. So if you're selling, ask your agent to check with the buyer's lender. Make sure they've got a plan if IRS verifications are delayed. And it's not just the IRS. Social Security verifications can also slow down. That affects retirees and anyone using fixed income documentation for their loan. Plus, if your buyer works for the federal government, that adds another wrinkle. Many lenders pause or re-verify employment for furloughed workers because technically they're not getting paid during the shutdown. So even well-qualified buyers can hit unexpected snags. Now, here's where a shutdown could create two different worlds. Conventional loans, these are still moving. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac aren't funded by Congress, so they keep operating. VA loans, also in decent shape. The Department of Veterans Affairs funds its programs through fees, so most VA buyers can still close, just maybe with some small delay. FHA loans, slower but still possible. Reduced staffing means approvals are dragging, but they're not frozen. USD loans, that's the hard stop. No new commitments, no new approvals, no exception. If you're selling and you see a USDA buyer on your offer, that doesn't mean reject them, but that deal may not move until the shutdown ends. I like to explain it like this. Imagine that you're at the grocery store and 3 checkout lanes are open. You have conventional and VA. These are like the lanes that have the 15 or less required items. They're kind of like an express lane. They're going to move forward quicker. FHA, that line is moving just a little bit slower. And then there's that one lane, the USDA line. It has a big close sign hanging above it. That's what we're dealing with right now. Now, here's something most people don't realize. Not every loan gets underwritten the same way. Some are run through automatic underwriting systems, basically software that instantly checks your info against lender guidelines. But when things don't fit perfectly, the file kicks over to what's called manual underwriting. And that's where shutdowns can really hurt. Manual loans need human eyes. And when those human eyes are federal employees or dependent on federal data systems, like some FHA and USDA loans, that's when things start piling up. So make sure that you or your agents confirm that the buyer's loan isn't being manually underwritten. Those files are far more likely to stall. Now that you know what's clogging up that pipeline, let's talk about what to do about it. First, don't panic. This is a pause, it's not a collapse. We saw the same thing back in 2018 and 2019. Sales dipped while government was closed, then bounced right back when open. It's like traffic on I-80, one big slowdown, and then everyone floors it once that second lane opens up. So rather than slashing your price, focus on flexibility. Be patient with timelines, not prices. Buyers using FHA or USDA loans will take longer. That's okay. Don't rush to discount. Just adjust expectation. Evaluate offers carefully. If you get multiple offers that are conventional or VA, those are your buyers that are going to be the smoothest path right now. That's not favoritism, that's just logistics. Add a shutdown buffer to your contract. Build in extra days tied to the government reopening. It protects both you and your buyer. Think of it like putting in expiration dates on perishable food. You wouldn't buy milk without knowing when it goes bad, right? Same goes for a real estate contract. Give it breathing room so nobody gets penalized for something out of their control. Now, if you're buying, don't try to time the shutdown for the perfect rates. The payment fits your budget and you can live with it. Lock it. You can always refinance later. Ask your lender how they're handling verifications and backups. And if you're in a flood zone, get private flood insurance early. This might actually be a window to negotiate better terms, since some sellers are anxious about the uncertainty. So what happens if this thing drags on for a while? If it lasts for a few weeks like it did back in 2018, 2019, it's mostly a clogged pipe. Messy, stressful, but fixable. But once we cross into that 4-week mark or longer, the effects start to ripple outward. Federal workers miss paychecks. That also means some buyers who work with the government might have their loans paused, since lenders can't verify the active income or employment during the furlough. It's one of those ripple effects people don't think about until it hits their closing date. Lenders start tightening credit standards, and that's when even strong buyers start hesitating. Not because they can't qualify, but because the uncertainty starts to wear on them. It's like a small leak in a pipe that slowly floods the basement. Even if your home wasn't directly connected, eventually everyone feels the pressure. That's why communication is everything between agents, lenders, attorneys, and clients. Here's the quick game plan I'm giving my clients right now. Check your deal. Know what type of loan your buyer is using, conventional FHA, VA, or USDA. Ask your agent if they confirm this 100%. You'd be surprised how many brokers never actually verify it. Relying on the pre-approval letter alone is a mistake. Sometimes lenders will change those after the deal is agreed upon, or they may simply omit important information. Not all pre-approval letters are created equal. Your agent should be having a one-on-one conversation with the lender when possible. Ask whether the underwriting is manual or automatic. What loan type is it? And whether IRS or Social Security verifications are required. Confirm flood insurance if the property is anywhere near a mapped floodplain. And make sure the buyer's got private coverage ready. Lock rates smartly. Don't chase perfection. If the rate and the payment fit your budget comfortably, take it. Add buffer days, extend your closing timeline by a week or two. It's a small move that can save your deal. Most sellers want a quick closing, but during times like this, it's smarter to plan for a little extra time. Remember, your mortgage contingency deadlines protect both sides. They give buyers an out if the delays drag on. When the government reopens, every lender and title office will be slammed. Be ready so your file jumps to the front of the line. So look, this isn't fun for anyone, but this also isn't the end of the housing market. Every shutdown ends, and when it does, the housing rebounds hard. So if you're selling or buying, the key is staying calm, informed, and strategic. The market isn't broken, it's just on pause while the system catches its breath. And when it starts moving again, you'll want to be ready. So if you got questions about how this affects your situation, whether you're mid-sale, thinking about listing your home for sale, or just watching from the sidelines, reach out. My hope is that this gave you some clarity and practical tips to navigate this rare situation, so you can make smart moves no matter what's happening in Washington. Stay ready, stay calm, and everything will work itself out. It always does. So please, if you think I'm wrong or perhaps I missed something here, let me know in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts on that. Now, if you would like to reach out to me directly, all my contact information is in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.